And it was such a great lesson last night to remember that people can't read your mind. If there's things that we want or things that we're thinking about in life, like you really have to tell other people about it. Hey, good morning, how are you? Great to see you and thanks for joining me for a morning walk. Today, we're going to be taking a stroll around Karratha. And I'm really sorry because I've got to admit, there's not a hell of a lot to see here. We weren't supposed to be here at all. In fact, it wasn't on our itinerary for travelling around Australia at all, but I've got a little bit of a story to tell you about that. So, at least I got a story to tell. Anyway, how are you today? If you're a new friend or an old friend, I'd love to hear from you. Drop me a comment down below. Tell me how you are and what's going on in your world. And let's go and have a look around Karratha. Well, we got a surprise last night. We were sitting in the caravan and my wife got a text message from a friend back in Sydney who sent a photo of our house and said, "Is this your house for sale?" Yeah, it is. Well, in fact, we live in a semi-detached. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like one building, but with, common wall down the middle, and it's divided into two houses. And essentially our neighbour, who we love to death, and she's been there the whole time we've been there, has decided to sell like her half of the semi, which was a shock because, well, firstly, we hadn't heard about it. She hadn't talked to us about it. Not that she had to, her decision. But yeah, we've got a good relationship and everything, so we kind of were like, what? Like, she's selling and we had no idea? Like, long story short, she's a bit older and she wants to downsize because it's a lot to maintain and she doesn't want to have to go up and down the stairs as much, so all totally understandable. But we'd kind of dreamed that maybe one day we might be able to buy her half of the building, right, the semi, in order to then own the whole thing and, maybe you could rent some of it out, rent her half out as an investment. That was kind of like the dream, right? But of course, we'd never said anything to her about it. We'd never told her that, hey, if ever you want to move or you're thinking of moving, let us know because we might be interested in buying your half of the building. Because I guess we just never really thought that moment would ever arrive, or that it maybe was a lot more distant than it really was. And as a result, the timing is terrible. We had to close our business, multi-million-dollar turnover business. We haven't got jobs right now. There is no way that we can make it work, right? We can't borrow the money from the bank to make it work right now. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like if we'd actually told her that we were interested in maybe buying her place one day, whenever that day might arrive, she would have come to talk to us before putting it on the market, for sure, because it would have saved her, I don't know, $100,000 worth of fees and what have you. And it was such a great lesson last night to remember that people can't read your mind. If there's things that we want or things that we're thinking about in life, like you really have to tell other people about it, because if you don't, then you miss out. So whether that's, something that you want to do at work, a project that you're really interested in, or an opportunity, or a job, like a job that you're really interested in getting into, being promoted into, or going sideways into. Whether it's like a boy or a girl that you're really interested in and you like, you got to tell them. Whether it's like a trip that you want to plan for, things become concrete when we commit them to words. And whilst that might seem a bit strange, because sometimes when we, tell people something and it doesn't come off, like we say, oh, I'm going to do this thing, or I'm really interested in doing this thing, or I'd like to do this thing, and it doesn't happen, then we feel like we've failed, or we might get judged as having, been a flake or whatever. But it's the wrong way to look at it. If you don't tell people about it, then you miss out on opportunities. So speak up. Make sure that If there is something that you want, even if it might never come to fruition, even if it's a long way away, if there are other people involved, make sure you speak up, because otherwise you just never know if you're going to miss out on that opportunity, because you buried that somewhere in your head and you just made the assumption that at the time, when that time came, people would know to at least come and talk to you, but they don't. So always speak up. Thanks for joining me for a walk around Karratha. It's been awesome having a chat. I'll see you next time on the morning walk. I'm Rob. Have a great day.